भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेष्व भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। यं प्रव्रजन्तमनुपेतमपेतकृत्यं द्वैपायनो विरह कातर आजुहाव। पुत्रेति तन्मयतया तरवोऽभिनेदुस्तं सर्वभूतहृदयं मुनिमानतोऽस्मि। Hare Krishna, dear devotees, I welcome you to today's Srimad-Bhagavatam for all session. Today is May 25th, 2026. We are reading from Srimad-Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 9, Mother Yaśodā binds Lord Kṛṣṇa. So far, we have read in this chapter that considering Kṛṣṇa her own son, and also because he has committed an offense, Yaśodāmayi felt that it is essential to tie him up in order to teach him a lesson. So she brought a rope from the house and she began to tie Kṛṣṇa. But when she tried to tie the knot, she found that the rope was 2 fingers too short. So she brought another rope, tied it to the first rope. That was text 15. Then in text 16 we saw yadasi tad api nyunam. Even after tying the second rope, still when she tried to go around Krishna's belly, his waist, and tie the knot, that also was short. That in spite of tying the second rope, the rope was still short. Tenanyad api sandadhe. Even though she had tied another rope, still it was short. And it was short only by 2 fingers. Tadapi dvayangulam nyunam. And not just another one, she kept tying one rope after another, one rope after another, many ropes. But every time when she tried to tie Kṛṣṇa, the rope was exactly 2 fingers too short. And when she was tying like this, she went inside the house and got all the ropes that were there in the house. Evam svagehe damani, as many ropes as there were in Yaśodāmayi's house. She got all of them and she tied them all to each other. She kept adding each rope to the one that she used to tie Kṛṣṇa. So she was adding more and more rope to tie his waist. So now she had some hundreds of hands long rope. But in spite of having such a long rope, she was not able to tie Kṛṣṇa's waist, which was only as big as her fist. Seeing this, so earlier when when she captured Kṛṣṇa and she was screaming, and Yaśodāmayi was also shouting at him, if you are so scared, then why did you do mischief? Why did you break the pot? So when this was going on, all the neighboring gopis, they came to see the fun. And now they're seeing that Yaśodāmayi is bringing ropes and tying them one rope to another and trying to tie Kṛṣṇa's waist. And every time the rope is falling short by 2 fingers width, the length of 2 fingers. So seeing this, all the gopis began to laugh. And Yaśodāmayi was determined. She was tying. And she was also smiling. And at the same time, she was wonderstruck. How is it that even though his waist is just this big, as big as her fist, his belly was as big as her fist, and so much rope, hundreds and hundreds of hands length of that rope, was not able to tie such a small belly waist of Kṛṣṇa. So she became amazed at this. So that was just in a nutshell. I just said the translation. We also discussed why is it that Yaśodāmayi was not able to tie Kṛṣṇa. Why was Yaśodāmayi able? Why her rope was not sufficient to tie Kṛṣṇa? Because Kṛṣṇa didn't want to get tied by Yaśodāmayi. Being absorbed in that Leela as a child does not wish to be tied up. So Kṛṣṇa didn't want to get tied up by Mother Yaśodā. And when Kṛṣṇa desired not to be tied, then his Sankalpa Shakti awakened. Sankalpa Shakti means the Shakti with which Kṛṣṇa takes a vow, or he becomes determined. So that is also his Shakti. As soon as he desired not to be tied by Yaśodāmayi, his Sankalpa Shakti awakened. And because this Sankalpa Shakti awakened, then his Vibhuti, right? Vibhuta Shakti. That means Kṛṣṇa's all pervasiveness. That became active and that manifested in Kṛṣṇa's body. Because of that, now even though Kṛṣṇa still looked like a small boy, because this Vibhuta Shakti manifested, Yaśodāmayi was not able to, the rope of Yaśodāmayi was not able to go around Kṛṣṇa's waist. Even though it came around, it was not able to tie Kṛṣṇa. It fell short by 2 fingers. And then also, why only 2 fingers? We discussed that also. Because When does Krishna become bound? When does Krishna become controlled? He becomes controlled when, so two things are required here. When the devotee, so here in Yasodamay's case, she was not as eager to tie Krishna. So Vyagrata was not there in the beginning. She was not working very hard. She was doing it casually. But Krishna's mercy awakens when there is intensity in the devotional service of the devotee. Tivrena bhakti yogena. Tivra bhakti is required. When there is great intensity, when there is great vyagrata in the devotees, and then at that time, Krishna's mercy is awakened. When there is intensity in the devotee, when there is vyagrata, then Krishna's mercy is awakened. By Krishna's mercy, then the devotee is able to control Krishna. In Yasodamay's case, that vyagrata was not there initially. She was not so, she was not doing it so seriously. Because of that, the rope was falling short. So that's one. And the second one is, because there was that vyagrata was not there in Yasodamai, therefore Krishna's mercy was not awakened. Ultimately, only when Krishna's mercy is there, then the devotee is able to control Krishna. So that's what we saw yesterday. And then also, while this was going on, Yasodamai was bringing more and more rope. All the gopis came there. They were smiling. And Yasodamai was now becoming more and more determined. I have to tie him. Why I am not able to tie him? Because Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, she's thinking that I used so many hundreds of hands length of rope, and Krishna's, belly is just as big as my fist. Still, I'm unable to bind him. This is very surprising. So because of this, she's smiling. And another wonderful thing is, it is exactly 2 fingers short. So then these gopis were all smiling. They're just watching the fun, seeing Yasodamai's determination, and they were helping her also. They're bringing more rope for her. But they didn't, they were just smiling, and Yasodamai was determined. She was surprised and she was also smiling. So now we'll read the next verse. So yesterday we saw evam svageha damani Yasodā sandadadyapi gopinam susmayantinam smayanti vismita bhavat. So now we'll go to the next verse. sva-mātuḥ svinna-gātrāyā visrasta-kabara-srajaḥ dṛṣṭvā pariśramaṁ kṛṣṇaḥ kṛpayāsīt sva-bandhane. sva-mātuḥ svinna-gātrāyā visrasta-kabara-srajaḥ dṛṣṭvā pariśramaṁ kṛṣṇaḥ kṛpayāsīt sva-bandhane. Sva-mātuḥ. Now what happened? Yasodamai, sva-mātuḥ means his own mother. Svinna-gātrāyā. Svinna svinna-gātrāyā. Because of her endeavor, hard work, parishram kari hai Yasoda-mayi. She's working so hard, bringing ropes again and again from inside, trying to tie Kṛṣṇa. So she's working so hard. Because of this, she was sweating, perspiring. And Kṛṣṇa is seeing this. He's seeing the hard work of his mother. Sva-mātuḥ svinna-gātrāyā visrasta-kabara-srajaḥ. So the flowers that were decorating her hair, because of her hard work, these flowers were also falling down. She's working so hard that she's sweating. And the hairs, the flowers in her hair, like you keep, ladies decorate with mogra flowers and other flowers. These flowers were falling down. dṛṣṭvā pariśramaṁ kṛṣṇaḥ kṛpayāsīt sva-bandhane. So seeing this parishram, seeing this hard work of Yasoda-mayi, Kṛṣṇa kṛpayāsīt sva-bandhane. His mercy, his kripa awakened. And then he allowed himself to be tied by Yasoda-mayi. Seeing her hard work, how she's sweating, how the flowers in her hair were falling down, and she's determined. Seeing this, kṛpayāsīt sva-bandhane. He agreed to be tied by Yasoda-mayi. His kripa shakti came outside. And then by that, he agreed to be tied by Yasoda-mayi. So let's read Srila Prabhupada's translation purport, and then I will explain the commentary. Because of Mother Yasoda's hard labor, her whole body became covered with perspiration, and the flowers and comb were falling from her hair. So there's a comb also in her hair. So the flowers and comb were falling from her hair. When child Kṛṣṇa saw his mother thus fatigued, he became merciful to her and agreed to be bound. Purport: when Mother Yasoda and the other ladies finally saw that Kṛṣṇa, although decorated with many bangles and other jeweled ornaments, could not be bound with all the ropes available in the house. What does this mean? Although he is decorated with many bangles and other jeweled ornaments, you see, if Kṛṣṇa is unlimited, if he is vibhu, if he is all pervading, can you put a bangle around his hand? His hand will also be all pervading. So which bangle will fit his hand? Isn't it? If he is all pervading, then how you can put on any bangles or any other ornaments on Kṛṣṇa? But they are seeing that Kṛṣṇa is wearing all these ornaments. That means his form is of a limited size, isn't it? So this is achintya. On one hand, he is of a limited size, therefore he is wearing bangles and other necklaces. But the rope, so many ropes Yasoda-mayi joined, hundreds and hundreds of them she joined, but all those ropes together could not tie one small, little waist of Kṛṣṇa. How is this? So that's why Yasoda-mayi and the other ladies, they saw and they were amazed. When Mother Yasoda and the other ladies finally saw that Kṛṣṇa, although decorated with many bangles and other jeweled ornaments, could not be bound with all the ropes available in the house, they decided that Kṛṣṇa was so fortunate that he could not be bound by any material condition. I will explain that in a minute. So then what did they decide? Oh, he's so fortunate, okay, that he cannot be bound by any material condition. Thus they gave up the idea of binding him. But in competition between Kṛṣṇa and his devotee, Kṛṣṇa sometimes agrees to be defeated. Thus Kṛṣṇa's internal energy, Yoga Maya, was brought to work, and Kṛṣṇa agreed to be bound by Mother Yasoda. So this is explained by our Acharya, Srila Jiva Goswami. So Yasoda-mayi was doing a lot of hard work by bringing so many ropes from inside the house. Not only from inside the house, she was actually going and getting ropes from all over the village, from other gopis' homes also. She got ropes from her. She really worked very hard to tie Krishna. She did a lot of hard work bringing ropes, joining them, tying them. And because of this hard work, and for how long she did this? She went on till Sandhya. She started early in the morning. From then, she kept, just, it must have taken a few minutes, when Krishna broke the pot and went outside, ran outside, and then she tried to tie him. The rest of the day, she was only bringing ropes and trying to tie him. She was perspiring a lot, sweating. And in spite of bringing all the ropes from the house, she is not able to tie Krishna. And all the gopis were watching the fun. And they saw how hard she's working, so many ropes she tied, still she's not able to bind Krishna. Finally, the gopis said, "Are Yaśodā, dear friend, what are you doing? Vidhata has not written in the fate of Krishna that he should be bound by you. This is not written. Uske nasib mein ye nahi likha hai. Krishna ke nasib mein bandhana nahi likha hai. The Creator has not written in the fate of Krishna that he should be bound. That is why no matter how many ropes you are bringing and tying, joining the ropes to each other, you are not able to tie Krishna. So why you are endeavoring unnecessarily? You won't be able to tie him. Leave it, don't tie, because you won't be able to tie him. It's not written in his fate to be tied. Like this, the gopis were telling Yaśodā, just leave it. She had already tried all day until evening she was trying. And she had brought all the ropes that were there in the entire village from every house. She went and got. Because she was determined to bind Krishna. Now they were in competition. Krishna and Yaśodā were in competition. Yaśodā wanted to win. Krishna was determined not to be bound, and Yaśodā was determined to bind him. And she wanted to win that. So that is why she was not giving up. Even though it was so hard, even though she was sweating like anything, she didn't give up. She tried so hard. She went and got ropes from all over the village. All day she's running, trying to tie Krishna. So you see here, both Krishna is determined and Yaśodā is also determined. Whose determination is more powerful? Between Krishna's determination and Yaśodā determination, whose determination is more powerful? The devotee's determination is more powerful. Not that Krishna does not have that determination and therefore he becomes weak. No, he does not become weak, but he drops his, if there is a competition, willingly he will drop, he will lose the match. If there's a competition between Krishna and the devotee, willingly he will drop out, willingly he will lose the match between himself and his devotee. This is his greatness. This is his love for the devotee. This is his greatness. This is not his weakness. It is not that the devotee is more powerful and the Lord is weak, so he is losing. No. But seeing the determination of the devotee, Krishna drops. So here Yaśodā, how is she seeing Krishna? This is my son. I have to teach him a lesson. Otherwise he will be spoiled. Thinking like this, she thought, I have to tie him to teach him a lesson. And Krishna is seeing Yaśodā determination. how hard she's working in this love. So this, she wants to tie him out of her vatsalya prema. She's looking at Krishna only as her son. There's no other feeling there. Her heart is filled with vatsalya prema. Out of that vatsalya prema, she feels now that this is my son and I have to teach him a lesson. So by her love and by her determination, Krishna becomes captivated. So what is Krishna thinking, seeing Yasoda-mayi? He's thinking, my mother is working so hard. She's sweating like anything. So seeing her hard work all day, she was working hard simply to tie him. So seeing her hard work, he got compassion on her. My poor mother. He got compassion. Matru-vatsalaha. He got that vatsala. Like you said, bhakta vatsala. He is matru-vatsala. Bhakta vatsala means one who has that love for his bhakta. Just like a cow has love for its calf. Like that, Krishna has that love for his devotee, bhakta vatsala. So in this case, who is that bhakta? It's his mother. So he got matru vatsala, the compassion for his mother. Oh, she's working so hard. She's sweating like anything. The flowers in her hair are all falling down. Still she's working so hard. So this attracted Krishna's compassion. He got compassion towards his mother, matru vatsala. So he decided, now I will lose the game. So my mother can win. So she doesn't have to work so hard. I will lose the game now. And when he got this feeling, immediately what happened to that vibhuta? So when this compassion came, that vibhutvam, it went down. It became obscured. That vibhutvam disappeared when Krishna got this compassion. So he got this compassion for his mother, and he allowed himself to be tied by Mother Yasoda. He allowed himself to be tied by Mother Yasoda. So this kripa that appeared in Krishna's heart, it is also one Shakti. Earlier we saw Sankalpa Shakti, then Vibhuta Shakti. Like this, many Shaktis are there. There is also Kripa Shakti. That's one Shakti of Krishna. My mother is working so hard. She's completely tired. When he felt like this Kripa Shakti became active in him. What is the speciality of this Kripa Shakti, you know? Of all the Shaktis that Krishna has, this Kripa Shakti is considered to be the Chakravarti Shakti. Chakravarti, emperor. Not just king, but emperor. Emperor means all the other kings are subordinate to him. Like that, this Krishna has many Shaktis. But Kripa Shakti is considered to be the Chakravarti or the emperor potency. When the emperor comes, what is the power of anyone else in front of the emperor? Everybody has to bow down before the emperor. So when the Kripa Shakti awakened, because it is the Chakravarti of all Shaktis, like what are the Shaktis of Krishna? Sarvagnatvam, Vibhutvam, like this. When this Kripa Shakti appeared, what happened to Krishna's heart? When the Kripa Shakti appeared in Krishna's heart, his heart became very soft, like butter. When Kripa Shakti appeared, Krishna's heart became very soft like butter. Before this, before the Kripa Shakti appeared, what was happening? He had this desire, my mother shouldn't, I don't want to be bound. And because of that, the Sankalpa Shakti awakened. Because of that Sankalpa, the Vibhuta Shakti appeared, and Yasoda-mayi was not able to bind him. But now, the Kripa Shakti, which is the Chakravarti Shakti, appeared. And by the appearance of Kripa Shakti, Krishna's heart became soft like butter, and this Vibhuta Shakti disappeared. When Kripa Shakti appeared, Vibhuta Shakti disappeared. Vibhuta Shakti didn't have that power to stand in front of Kripa Shakti, because Kripa Shakti is emperor. It is the Chakravarti. In front of Chakravarti, who can stand? Nobody can stand. Nobody can challenge the Chakravarti. So, Vibhuta Shakti disappeared. That means that all pervasiveness, that disappeared. So, Yaśodā now, she was able to tie Kṛṣṇa because that Vibhuti Shakti disappeared. How it disappeared? Because of the appearance of Krishna's Kripa Shakti, that Vibhuta Shakti disappeared. And mother was able to tie him up immediately. So, what is the significance of these two fingers that we see? Two fingers means the first finger is representing Parishram and the second finger is representing Krishna's Kripa. First finger is devotee's Parishram. And the second finger, seeing that Parishram of the devotee, now Krishna's Kripa appears. By the appearance of Krishna's Kripa, then the devotee is able to control Kṛṣṇa, is able to bind Kṛṣṇa. In the case of Yaśodā, initially she did not have that vyagrata, that intensity that I have to tie Kṛṣṇa. So she was not, she didn't have that intensity, that seriousness, that eagerness. And because she didn't have that eagerness, she also didn't work so hard. She didn't do so much parishram. And because she didn't do so much parishram, Krishna's Kripa was also not awakened. His Kripa Shakti also was not awakened. And that's why there was a gap in Yaśodā, rope. She was trying to bind Kṛṣṇa. She was not able to bind because she didn't have that eagerness. And then therefore she didn't do that parishram. And because there's no parishram, then Krishna's mercy was also not awakened. And therefore there was a gap and she was not able to bind him. All the time, from morning until evening, no matter how many ropes she tied, there was always 2 fingers gap. Exactly 2 fingers gap. But now, when she endeavored so much, she worked so hard that she's sweating all over. The hairs, the flowers in her hair are falling down. And she worked all day long for Kṛṣṇa to tie him. Then Krishna's mercy awakened. And by that, she was able to tie him. So from this pastime, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is giving us an important lesson. He's saying, when the devotee endeavors very hard, endeavors for what? Endeavors to do bhajan. In order to do bhajan, that means Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, it is not that we will do bhajan whenever it feels nice. So when everything is nice, when I'm having fun, when I'm enjoying, then I will do. And when I don't like it, when I have something else to do, or when it becomes difficult, right? When it becomes difficult, I don't have the patience to sit and do that bhajan. You give up. Then you cannot attract Krishna's mercy. So when the devotee does hard work for bhajan, he endeavors very hard to do bhajan. Then seeing that endeavor, Krishna's heart becomes very soft by the appearance of his mercy. So when you say working hard, You're working so hard that you're sweating. You're working so hard that you're sweating. You're working so hard that you're getting tired of doing that hard work to do that bhajan. That is very important. Tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. In bhakti, there has to be tivrata. Not just, happy-go-lucky kind of bhajan. Not like that. Very, very tivra bhakti. Akama sarva kamova moksha kama udaradhi. Tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. Tivrena bhakti yogena. Then you will see the result. Tivra bhakti. That is the lesson we learn from this pastime. Yasoda is working so hard. So by that hard work, by her parishram, she attracted Krishna's mercy. So when the devotee endeavors very hard to do bhajan, the Lord, seeing that endeavor, his heart becomes soft by the appearance of his kripa. And when his mercy appears, when there is kripa, then he gives various realizations to the devotee. He gives various realizations. So how do we progress in bhakti? First of all, we have to do sadhana very intensely. By that, seeing our endeavor, our serious endeavor, that means you should do sadhana very rigorously, very rigorously. Seeing that, the Lord's mercy will be awakened. And by the Lord's mercy, then you will get realizations in bhakti. You will get realizations in bhakti. And that's how you are progressing. If we are not doing sadhana rigorously, we cannot expect Krishna's mercy. How did Yasoda get Krishna's mercy? She worked hard all day long until evening. That's when she got Krishna's mercy. So until and unless you do that serious endeavor, hard work, we cannot expect Krishna's mercy. And without Krishna's mercy, you cannot expect progress in bhakti. So much anxiety, so much effort. She was tired. She felt, you become helpless in your devotion, in your practice of bhajan. You're working so hard, experiencing so much anxiety. You're putting in a lot of effort, and you're getting so tired by doing that bhajan. And at times you're feeling completely helpless. Just like Yasoda who brought all the ropes in the entire village. Then the Lord's kripa awakens. And then he can be controlled. So what are the two fingers representing? Bhajanottha shantaha. Bhajanottha shantaha, first one. That means tiredness arising due to endeavor in bhajan. Not just endeavor. You endeavor so hard that you become tired. That is required. Bhajanottha shantaha means tiredness arising due to endeavor in bhajan. Tiredness arising due to endeavor in bhajan. And the second finger is kripa of the Lord. By seeing your hard endeavor, by seeing the tiredness in you, by doing that endeavor, Krishna's kripa is awakened. So that is the second point. First is the tiredness of the devotee arising due to endeavor in bhajan. And the second point is the Lord's mercy that appears by seeing the devotee's endeavor. When these two things are there, then the Lord becomes bound by that devotee. Therefore, one should take trouble, one should take pain to do bhajan, to please the Lord. Then the Lord will allow himself to be controlled by that devotee. One should take pain the way Yaśodā took pain to do bhajan. So by taking that pain, you will attract Krishna's mercy. And when you get Krishna's mercy, then you will be controlled by the Lord. So now we'll read. I think we read already, right? We read the verse and translation. Because of, so the verse is like this: sva-mātuḥ svinna-gātrāyā visrasta-kabara-srajaḥ dṛṣṭvā pariśramaṁ kṛṣṇaḥ kṛpayāsīt sva-bandhane. His kripa came and he allowed himself to be bound. Why? dṛṣṭvā pariśramaṁ kṛṣṇaḥ. By seeing the parishrama, hard work of his mother, Krishna's kripa appeared. And by that, he allowed himself to be bound by Mother Yaśodā. So we can read Bhagavad Gita now. We can read Bhagavad Gita. This verse I will discuss tomorrow. We started reading. Yesterday I discussed these. So Krishna is giving the symptoms, explaining to Arjuna the symptoms of a person who has transcended the three modes. We discussed this yesterday. These symptoms were also discussed in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. What are the qualities, what are the symptoms of a sthita prajna? The same thing is discussed here again. So we saw prakāśaṁ ca pravṛttiṁ ca. So that means when the symptoms of goodness, passion and ignorance are present, he does not hate them. And when they are absent, he does not long for them. That's one symptom. Then he is completely indifferent. Udāsīna-vad, asino. So he is very indifferent. And he is not disturbed by the modes or by the effects of the modes. He is not disturbed. How is he not disturbed? Because he sees the modes to be the only actors. Whatever is happening, it is being done by the three modes. He sees himself as separate from the modes. He is always situated in so yo vatishtati nengate. So he doesn't see himself as part of those modes. It is the modes who are doing everything, and I'm not the modes. I'm different from the modes. By that he remains indifferent, udāsīna, and he is not affected by the modes. And he remains equipoised in distress and happiness, and is always situated in Brahman, because this person is Jivan-muktaha. He is in the highest stage of the Jnana Marga, Sthita Prajna. That means he's already transcended all three modes. Goodness also he has transcended. He stopped his Jnana sadhanas, everything. Now he's Jivan Mukta, means you are liberated while still in this body. That's a Sthita Prajna, that's a Jivan Mukta. So therefore, what is he situated in? Not that I am soul. Now he is situated in Brahman. So he remains steady in both distress and happiness, and he is situated in the self. Self means in Brahman. And what else? He sees a stone or gold equally, or whether he gets something which is dear to him or something which means earlier, those things which were his favorite, which were dear to him, or whether he gets those things which used to be, which he didn't like, which he despised earlier. In both those, he sees both of them equally, and he remains sober in both cases, whether he got something that he desired or something which he didn't desire. He remains unaffected. He takes them both equally. And tulya nindatma samstutihi, and whether someone is criticizing him or somebody is praising him, in both cases he remains equipoised. Manapa manayos tulyas, whether someone is respecting him and honoring him, or he is getting dishonored, insulted, neglected, ignored. In both cases, he remains equal. And whether somebody is his friend or an enemy, in both cases, he remains same. And sarvaramba parityagi, he gives up all types of material dealings, that one has to follow when you're living in this material world. Aramba, it's like show off activities, right? You put up a show. He gives up all types of material activities. Such a person is said to have transcended the three modes. So we didn't read the purport before this. So we'll just read it now. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O son of Pandu, he who does not hate illumination, attachment and delusion when they are present, or long for them when they disappear, who is unwavering and undisturbed through all these reactions of the material qualities, unwavering and undisturbed through all these reactions of the material qualities, remaining neutral and transcendental, knowing that the modes alone are active, who is situated in the self and regards alike happiness and distress, who looks upon a lump of earth, a stone, and a piece of gold with an equal eye, who is equal toward the desirable and the undesirable, priya apriya, who is steady, situated equally well in praise and blame, honor and dishonor, who treats alike both friend and enemy, and who has renounced all material activities. Such a person is said to have transcended the modes of nature. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Arjun submitted 3 different questions and the Lord answers them one after another. In these verses, Krishna first indicates that a person transcendentally situated has no envy and does not hanker for anything. What is Krishna indicating? First of all, that a person transcendentally situated, that means someone who has transcended the three modes, has no envy, nor does he hanker for anything. He does not envy, nor does he hanker for anything. That's the first point. That na dveṣṭi, na kāṅkṣati. He's not hankering and he's not hating anything. That's the first quality. When a living entity stays in this material world, embodied by the material body, it is to be understood that he is under the control of one of the 3 modes of material nature. Yes? That's why everyone has a particular svabhava. That's the point. You have a svabhava. So when it is said one of the 3 modes, it is not possible to have exclusively one mode, but one mode is prominent. All 3 will be there in everyone, in everything, all 3 will be there. It is not possible to have only one, but one will be prominent compared to others. So based on the one that is prominent, that's your svabhava. So if goodness is prominent, then your svabhava is that of a brahmana. If passion is prominent, then your svabhava is that of a kshatriya. If you have equally passion and ignorance prominently, right, then you are a vaishya. If ignorance is prominent, then you are a shudra, like that. Everything is made of modes. your mind, intelligence, body, everything is made of modes. So which mode is influencing you primarily? That determines your svabhava. That means which mode is influencing your mind, your intelligence, your chitta, your senses. Then that is called your nature or your svabhava. When a living entity stays in this material world, embodied by the material body, it is to be understood that he is under the control of one of the three modes of material nature. When he is actually out of the body, then he is out of the clutches of the material modes of nature. So here also one more thing has to be said. When one is actually out of the body, when will you be out of the body? There are two ways how you will be out of the body. One way is that you will be out of the body after 100 years of Brahmaji. 100 years of Brahmaji are completed, then there is the whole universe. There is annihilation of the whole universe. Everything inside this universe, all the bodies, they're all going through annihilation. At that time, your gross body is destroyed. Subtle body is also destroyed. So there will be just that living entity with no body. No gross body, no subtle body. Just living entity will be there, covered by avidya and accompanied by karma. So that's one way of coming out of the body. But that is not liberation. That is not liberation. Why? Because you're still covered by avidya. Ignorance is there. That's why it's not liberation. The other way is when you actually practice this. When you practice the transcendental yoga, either you practice jnana marga or bhakti marga, and by that you transcend the three modes, as we are reading now. Then when you transcend the three modes, what happens here in jnana marga? Here you have a body, but you have already transcended the three modes. And at some point, you will give up this body and go and merge into Brahman. That's one thing. And in Bhakti Marga also, we saw how as you are practicing this bhajan, the material aspect in your senses, in your intelligence, mind, material aspect means those modes. Those modes are destroyed. They're removed. They're removed from you. So what remains ultimately when you come here is your pure Shuddha Sattva body. You don't have any material body. You have transcended all the modes completely when you come here in the Bhakti Marga. That means there's no body. Even though there's a body with which you're doing, actually there is no material body. You have transcended already in this path. And in Dhyana Marga, by the time you come to Jivan Mukta stage, though you have the material body, it is said it is like, here it's not that the body is getting transcendentalized. The body is material. The example is like a coconut. When the coconut is raw, dab, right? You drink coconut water. So in that stage, the pulp inside is stuck to the coconut. It is stuck to the coconut. But when the same coconut becomes dry, what happens? That pulp inside separates from the coconut. If you shake the coconut, you can feel the pulp inside. It has separated. Even though it is inside the shell, it's unattached. It is unattached to the shell. Similarly, in this Jnani's case, who has transcended the three modes, even though he is inside that body, which is like that coconut shell, the living entity is like that dry coconut inside, is not attached to that body. That's why he's called Jivan Mukta. He's liberated. He's not attached to that body. He's liberated already. So in both these cases, there is no body which is binding you. There's no material body which is binding you. You understand? Of course, here still there is risk. The risk is, even though you are Jivan Mukta, if you commit an offense to Bhagavan or the devotee, somehow or other, if you happen to commit an offense, you will come right back. You can even come back here. Like, remember that snake and ladder game? All the way in number 99 also, the snake can eat you and you come all the way down. So that can happen in the Jnana Marga. If you are here also, right there, this is 100 and this is 99, let's say, in the snake and ladder game. This is 100 and this is 99. Even in 99 here, if you commit an offense, yenera vindaksha vimukta maninaha, right? So there, that shloka says that if you commit an offense to the lotus feet of the Lord or to his devotee, even you come to this stage, that means you're liberated in the body, again you'll fall down. That is there. But otherwise, here what is Srila Prabhupada telling us in the purport? When he is actually out of the body, then he is out of the clutches of the material modes of nature. So, he is actually out of the clutches of material modes of nature here also. Certainly here also, you are out of the modes of material nature. However, if you commit offenses, then you can fall from here. And same here also. If you have some offenses, there's no chance of knowingly committing offenses here. But if some way, by chance, some offense happens because of some past impressions or something, it is still possible even in this stage. It's possible. But if you're out of the body, so here, once you give up the body, you merge into Brahman. Is there any way? No. You're liberated for good now, permanent. Once you give up your body and merge into Brahman, that's permanent. There's no more coming back. Finished. Similarly, here also, you get prema. In prema, all your offenses are removed, but there is a chance of its coming back, even though everything is removed. Here in bhava, it's not that all of them are removed. There is a chance that still there are some, you can still have offenses. While in bhava also, you can have some offenses. But when you come to prema, all offenses are removed completely. That's when you can get prema. However, there is still a chance of the offenses coming back, like cancer, right? Even though you become cancer-free, still they say, even after 20 years, there's a chance of the cancer coming back, like that. So you are in prema, all your offenses are removed, but there's a chance of its coming back. But once you get Bhagavad Prapti, you're free. No more offenses cannot come there. Right? So you get Bhagavad Prapti. And here also, once you merge into Brahman. So, what is Srila Prabhupada saying? When he is actually out of the body, then he is out of the clutches of the material modes of nature. But as long as he is not out of the material body, he should be neutral. He should engage himself in the devotional service of the Lord, so that his identity with the material body will automatically be forgotten. So how can you be neutral? That means you are living in this atmosphere of the three modes of material nature. What is your immunization against this? Let's say there is coronavirus everywhere, let us say. And if you have to go, what do you have to do? Your immune system has to be very strong, isn't it? So, when he is actually out of the body, then he is out of the clutches of material modes of nature. But you're not out of the body. As long as he's not out of the material body, he should be neutral. He should engage himself in the devotional service of the Lord, so that his identity with the material body will automatically be forgotten. That's the thing. See, we have this material body. Material body means subtle body and gross body. Subtle body has false ego. False ego tells you are this body. And the people related to this body are your people. And things related to this body are your things. Isn't it? This false ego will again and again tell you Then how to counter that? How to neutralize the effects? Again, this false ego, your false ego, my false ego, they're all not same, because each one is influenced by a different combination of the three modes. You see? That is why the false ego of a Brahmana is different, false ego of a Kshatriya is different, like that. In that also, again, each person has his own combination of modes. That's why there are so many personalities, so many swabhavas, so many natures. How to neutralize this? We are constantly under the influence by engaging himself in the devotional service of the Lord. That is why. And when we'll be able to do that all the time, when we have firm faith, then we will be firm faith in bhakti, that this, when I do this, then I'm protected. Or this is what I'm supposed to do. This is my identity. Like that. Only Kṛṣṇa is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and my only identity is I'm his servant. This type of faith, when you have, then you'll be able to do devotional service, and that devotional service will neutralize the effects of these modes, so that his identity with the material body will automatically be forgotten. When one is conscious of the material body, he acts only for sense gratification. A conditioned soul, he can only think up to dharma, artha, kama. I will work, by working I will earn, and with that earnings I can enjoy sense gratification. Conditioned soul can only think thus far. Conditioned soul can only think up to that point. Work, earn, and enjoy. Enjoy, and then self and my extended self. When one is conscious of the material body, he acts only for sense gratification. But when one transfers the consciousness to Kṛṣṇa, sense gratification automatically stops. When one transfers the consciousness to Kṛṣṇa, that means instead of my sense gratification, I will transfer my consciousness to Kṛṣṇa's sense gratification. Instead of cooking something wonderful and trying to enjoy something wonderful for myself, I will try to make something wonderful for Kṛṣṇa. Whatever it is you're thinking is enjoyable for you, you transfer that to Kṛṣṇa. You offer it for Kṛṣṇa's enjoyment. Can we try to do that? Yes, we can. We can do that. Whatever you are fond of doing, ladies are fond of jewelry, start buying jewelry for Kṛṣṇa. Offer jewelry to Kṛṣṇa. You're fond of dressing nicely, make nice dresses for Kṛṣṇa, or you assist in that service so that Kṛṣṇa is decorated nicely, Kṛṣṇa is dressed nicely. You're fond of eating various foodstuffs, make wonderful offerings for Kṛṣṇa. Transfer that consciousness of sense gratification, that means personal sense gratification or extended sense gratification, transfer that to the sense gratification of Kṛṣṇa. Transfer that consciousness to Kṛṣṇa. Then by doing that, what happens? Your own sense gratification automatically stops. It will stop. One does not need this material body, and he does not need to accept the dictations of the material body. You don't need the material body. What do we need? We need devotional service. Because jivera swarupa hoy Krishnera nityadas. But in this world, that devotional service is perverted and the object is changed. Instead of serving the Supreme Lord, we serve the self and extended self, material nature actually. Because material nature is Maya. Under the influence of Maya, you are identifying yourself with this body and serving this body. And those related to this body are extended self. So you serve like that. But do you need this material body? Why do we have this material body? Because of that avidya, because of that ignorance, we are getting this material body. Does the living entity need? No. But when you have avidya and you have karma, you are given this body so that you can enjoy the results of your karma. You can create new karma. And most importantly, you can render devotional service. You need a body to render devotional service. But ideal body is transcendental body after you come to bhava. But before that also, you can render devotional service with this body. You need senses, isn't it? Mind, hands, legs, eyes, ears, nose. With these, hrishikesha sevanam. With your senses, you engage in the service of the master of the senses. But does the spirit soul need a material body eternally? One does not need this material body. And what to speak of the demands of the material body? This is not the need of the soul. One does not need this material body, and he does not need to accept the dictations of the material body. Rasapriya, the qualities of the material modes in the body will act. The qualities of the material modes in the body will act. The qualities of the material modes. What are the qualities of the material modes? That means, what is the quality of goodness? Illumination, happiness, knowledge. What is the quality of passion? Hankering, kamya karma, endeavoring. What is the quality of the mode of ignorance? Laziness, madness, darkness, like that. So the qualities of the material modes in the body will act. But as spirit soul, the self is aloof from such activities. That's what we saw. So here, he is not affected. He is there in the same body. He is there in the same body. And while in that body, so many activities are happening and the qualities are also seen, but he is not affected. He is seeing that the modes are acting. I have nothing to do with the modes. That shows that the spirit soul is not dependent on the activities of the material body. You don't need it. One does not need this material body, and he does not need to accept the dictations of the material body. The qualities of the material modes in the body will act, but as spirit soul, the self is aloof from such activities. Because Atma is soul and body is matter. Both are different. Atma is aloof from such activities which are born of matter, prakriti. But how does he become aloof? He does not desire to enjoy the body, nor does he desire to get out of it. Right? That's why it is said, na kāṅkṣati, na dveṣṭi, na kāṅkṣati. He is neither trying to get out of the body, nor is he getting attached to the body and its activities. He does not desire to enjoy the body, nor does he desire to get out of it. Thus, transcendentally situated, the above devotee becomes automatically free. However, do you need happiness or not? Spirit soul has its own happiness, Atmananda, it is there. That means seeking happiness, that's the quality of the soul. Seeking happiness. Anandamayo bhyasat, that's the quality of spirit soul, seeking happiness. But seeking happiness in material things, in material body, material activities, material fruits, material results, that's not the right position for the soul. Because soul is spirit, matter is dull. Soul is not actually enjoying anything. It's simply claiming that it is enjoying. Actually, the soul is not enjoying. But seeking pleasure is the quality of the soul. So there is one thing which is material pleasure. If you see that, Annamaya, Pranamaya, Jnanamaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya. So these are the various stages of consciousness. Annamaya means your pleasure is coming simply from food, from matter. Annamaya. Pranamaya means the consciousness is raised higher. Here, your pleasure is coming not from just food, but pranamaya, right? From life symptoms. That means now you're actually able to consider, not just selfishly thinking about yourself, but you're able to share with others what you have. Srila Prabhupada explains like that about pranamaya. You are able to see life, appreciate life. That means you're not just looking at yourself, you're looking at wherever there is life, right? This is higher consciousness. That means you get pleasure in doing some social service, serving others. Pranamaya. Then higher than that is manomaya or jnanamaya. Manomaya means now you see yourself not just as this body, not only are you seeing other bodies, but you see the mind. So this is even finer level of consciousness on the mental, being on the mental plane. Philosophers, writers, Then there is Vijnanamaya. Vijnanamaya means now you're going higher than mind. I'm not this body, I'm spirit soul. And even higher than that is Anandamaya. So these are various levels of consciousness. One is seeking happiness, but where are you seeking that happiness? And what is the highest happiness, highest bliss, pleasure that one gets? So even though he is in this body, he is not seeking pleasure from the body, from matter, from food. That's the point. Does he still get his happiness? Yes, but he gets from higher sources. See here, since we are dealing with Jnanis, so he will get his pleasure Brahmananda. He gets pleasure from Brahmananda, from Brahman. Thus, transcendentally situated, the devotee becomes automatically free. He is not affected whether there is material happiness or material distress. He is able to see them both equally. Not that he becomes happy when there is material happiness and he wants to get away from material distress. He becomes udāsīna. That means he is not affected by either of them. Transcendently situated, the devotee becomes automatically free. He need not try to become free from the influence of the modes of material nature. So, you simply engage in devotional activities. Automatically, by that engagement, you will transcend the modes. You don't have to separately try for them. Try to transcend the modes. By engaging, when your consciousness is transferred to Kṛṣṇa, you are trying to serve Kṛṣṇa, then by engaging in direct devotional service, even though you are in this body, in this world, you will transcend the modes, you won't be affected. So you will see these symptoms of a person who has transcended the three modes. You won't be affected by happiness or distress of this body, though you are in this body. He need not try to become free from the influence of the modes of material nature. The next question concerns the dealings of a transcendentally situated person. So the first paragraph is answering the first question of Arjun, what are the symptoms? What are the symptoms of a person who has transcended? The second question is, what is the behavior of a person who has transcended? So the next question concerns the dealings of a transcendentally situated person. The materially situated person is affected by so-called honor and dishonor offered to the body, but the transcendentally situated person is not affected by such false honor and dishonor. So how does he behave, whether he is honored or dishonored? He behaves the same way. There's no difference in his behavior. He performs his duty in Krishna consciousness and does not mind whether a man honors or dishonors him. So his interest is only in his devotional service to Krishna. In the course of that performance of service, if somebody is honoring him, he doesn't become elated. If somebody is dishonoring him, he doesn't become disturbed. He is only concerned about his service to Krishna. He performs his duty in Krishna consciousness, does not mind whether a person honors him or dishonors him. So look at the behavior. He accepts things that are favorable for his duty in Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, he has no necessity of anything material, either stone or gold. Whatever. So this is a sign of surrender. Anukulyasya sankalpaha pratikulyasya varjanam. Anukulyasya sankalpaha. Anukulya means favorable. Whatever is favorable to devotional service, he will accept that. He will accept that. Otherwise, he's not interested. He's not interested in anything material. It can be very valuable thing like gold or maybe a stone. He has no interest for either of them. Only if it has some use, if it can be employed in Krishna's service, then he will accept it. So his interest is again devotional service. He has no favorites or, things that he hates. The criteria for selecting a thing is how it can be used in Krishna's service. He takes everyone as his dear friend who helps him in his execution of Krishna consciousness, and he does not hate his so-called enemy. Whoever helps him in his Krishna consciousness is his dear friend. And even if somebody considers, because yes, the devotee doesn't see anyone as his enemy, but materialists out of envy sometimes they see the devotees as their enemies, but he does not see anyone as his enemy. So he doesn't hate his so-called enemy. He doesn't hate. But he sees whoever helps him in Krishna consciousness, he loves that person. He sees as his dear friend. And those who are averse to Krishna consciousness, right? There are also those who are averse, the envious. Those who are envious of Krishna and devotees. He ignores them. He ignores them. He won't associate with them. Not that he sees them as his enemy, but he ignores them. This is a Madhyama Bhakta. Madhyama Bhakta discriminates. He loves Krishna. He makes friendship with devotees. They are dear to him. And those who are ignorant, he shows compassion to them. He tries to elevate them to Krishna consciousness. But those who are envious, he just ignores them. He is equally disposed and sees everything on an equal level because he knows perfectly well that he has nothing to do with material existence. So, just like he sees stone and gold equally, he is equally disposed and sees everything on an equal level. Why? He knows perfectly well that he has nothing to do with the material existence. So, from material perspective, one thing can be more valuable, another thing can be, useless. But he doesn't see that discrimination because he has nothing to do with this material world. See, here we are dealing with the Gyanis actually, but Srila Prabhupada explains it in terms of the devotees, for the devotees. That's why when he says, he takes everyone as his dear friend who helps him in execution of Krishna consciousness. He does not hate his so-called enemy. He is equally disposed to and sees everything on an equal level because he knows perfectly well that he has nothing to do with the material existence. So this point, he has nothing to do with material existence. This is a Jnani's quality. Devotee also, but in devotee's case, he will accept whatever can be used in the Lord's service. Whereas the jnani, he will reject everything. He will reject everything. Whether it is good or bad, he will reject everything. He is equally disposed and sees everything on an equal level because he knows perfectly well that he has nothing to do with material existence. Social and political issues do not affect him because he knows the situation of temporary upheavals and disturbances. When Srila Prabhupada was preaching, when he was trying to establish this movement, there were such serious problems, socially, politically. There were wars, Second World War, First World War, then Second World War. And India was, Srila Prabhupada was in India, in Calcutta, which was the headquarters of the British Empire. And there were wars. So it was not an easy situation. But Srila Prabhupada was pushing the Krishna consciousness movement. And then Srila Prabhupada is writing, social and political issues do not affect him. They don't affect him. That does not mean he does not do the needful. But his vision is clear. He pushes the Krishna consciousness movement. And he will use this situation to push his movement forward. What is his movement? Awakening everyone to Krishna consciousness. Not that you go after solving those social problems and political issues and no. There is only one solution to all problems. Krishna consciousness. All problems are because of lack of Krishna consciousness, and the solution to all problems is awakening Krishna consciousness. And there are millions of people already who are concerned about social and political issues. But there are very few who are actually working towards lifting the people's consciousness to Krishna consciousness. So, social and political issues do not affect him. He's, vyavasayatmika buddhir ekeha kurunandana. He doesn't get distracted by so many other goals. His goal is clear. Because he knows the situation of temporary upheavals and disturbances. This is just the nature of material existence. It goes on like this. There is day and night, and again after night there will be day, and after day again there will be night. So similarly, happiness and distress, winter, summer, they come and they go. Problems also, social problems, political problems, they come, they go. Of course, when there is a proper varnashrama system, then the king takes care of these things. So that also is done by the devotee. He works for that also. In fact, the devotee only has to do, nobody else is going to do this. Establishing a proper social system in society to save the people in general from all these disturbances, social and political disturbances. But that also he does in a Krishna conscious way. He does not attempt anything for his own sake. He can attempt anything for Krishna, but for his personal self, he does not attempt anything. By such behavior, one becomes actually transcendentally situated. So, sarvarambha parityagi is said, na? So there, here Srila Prabhupada is saying he can attempt, so he won't do anything for his own sake. Sarvarambha means he is not making any endeavors for himself. How I will maintain my body, where I will get my shelter, where, what will happen after I retire. He won't worry about those things. He will not attempt anything for his own sake. But he can do anything for Krishna. Things which he would never do for himself also he will do for Krishna. He can go and beg, he can go and do anything. No problem, for Krishna. For himself, he won't go and beg anyone for anything. For Krishna's sake, he will do everything. For his personal self, he does not attempt anything. Very important point. For his own self, he will not ask, he won't do anything. But for Krishna, he can do anything and everything. By such behavior, one becomes actually transcendentally situated. So this is Krishna's answer to Arjun's question about what are the symptoms of one who has transcended and what is his behavior. Then he had also asked one question, how can one actually, what is the path, what is the procedure, what is the path for one who wants to transcend the three modes. So we'll see that tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Samaveta Gaur Bhakta-vrinda ki jai. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta koti vaishnavavrinda ki jai.